Welcome to this new live session of eazyBI Media. I have a guest today. It's Raymond Siminowski from eazyBI. Hi, Raymond.
Hi, Martin.
You are in Eastern Europe, right?
Yeah, so I'm from Latvia, so 1 hour difference from you. Yeah, not very far, from you.
And there's quite some technology coming from Latvia, right? I seen, for example, Fleep, and created a couple of blog posts about them. Do you know Fleep?
Don't know.
It's a Slack killer that integrates with email nicely and is a group chat tool like HipChat and Slack. They're from Latvia.
Oh.
And they were founded by one of the co-founders of Skype. And Skype
was it in Latvia or maybe in Estonia, as Skype co-founders were in Estonia, or?
I think it's, but you may be wrong. So let's say there's cool technology coming from Eastern Europe.
Yeah, so we are.
You're building eazyBI, right?
Sorry, can you repeat it?
You are building eazyBI.
Yes.
What is it?
So eazyBI is easy business intelligence application, and so what it means that you can get data from different data sources and then analyze it and create different reports, charts, dashboards out of it. And historically, eazyBI was started as a general purpose business intelligence application, and it still is a general purpose business intelligence application. But our most successful integration was with Atlassian Jira, and which was, so the company was founded more than 6 years ago, but about some more than 4 years ago. So the Jira integration was created, and so Jira customers became very interested in that, and so this has been so currently our most successful integration. And as a result, we are in the top 10 list of Jira add-ons, most sold add-ons on the Atlassian marketplace. And also because eazyBI was started as a hosted service, and just later it was created as an installable plugin for Jira. It made us, for us, very simple to integrate with the Jira Cloud offering. And eazyBI was actually the first Jira Cloud add-on which used Atlassian Connect and was in production already more than 3 years ago. And so currently, so we are available both for Jira Server, both for Jira Cloud, and both for Jira Data Center, and also compared to some other products. So the main difference is that it is actually the same product, which is just deployed in different ways, either on our cloud or on the server.
Okay, we'll come back to competition later. So I did see a couple of photos and videos, you spending time with Atlassians working on their cloud API. Have you been limited somehow in what you can do to Jira Cloud and what you can do to Jira Server? Or is it, as you said, just the same product with the exact same capabilities?
So the main difference is how we get the data out of Jira. So when we are on Jira Server, so there we can use Jira Java APIs to get the data. In the cloud, we are using REST APIs, and that's the major difference. So mostly in terms of performance, if there's large Jira instances in the cloud, so then, of course, REST API data synchronization, large data synchronization over REST API is slower, and there might be some timeouts. So we have provided also a lot of feedback to Atlassian, so how to improve that. And but yeah, that's the main difference. And as in our case, we are not so deeply integrated with Jira, so it's basically some full page for creating reports and dashboards, and then you can embed them either as Jira gadgets or as Confluence macros. So there are not so many these integration points. So therefore, so currently Atlassian Connect integration has been okay for us.
Okay. Which one's earning more money for you? Do you want to disclose that? What's the bigger market, like the cloud or the server?
So currently, still the server is bigger, but the cloud portion is already a significant percentage of the total volume. So probably still, yeah, currently on the cloud there are still more some smaller customers which are growing, but we already have large customers which have thousands of users on Jira Cloud as well. So it's growing, and so probably the growth rate is as the same as for Atlassian, a little bit higher, but both our businesses
so
are.
You seem to be contented with both sides of the ecosystem. The idea for this webinar was a customer from India that contacted us, and he let me share my screen real quick. He was asking you a question, and then I was asking the same question to Arsenale Dataplane. And the initial question of the customer was, I was looking for a reporting engine for Jira and came across the two, meaning eazyBI and Arsenale Dataplane. Do you have a comparison of the two, and why eazyBI is better than Arsenale Dataplane, or vice versa? And then that was back in November last year. And then your team compiled a very long, and in my opinion, also compelling and good answer on what the difference is. So if you are watching this video or watching us live, you may want to search on Google for comparison of eazyBI versus Arsenale Dataplane, and then you'll come to this URL up here. I didn't prepare a short link, so we may add it to the webinar page later. And then you'll find the answer of Raymond's team. I understand that that wasn't your answer. It was some of your smart people.
My colleague prepared this answer.
Yeah, okay. And I won't read it out, but it's quite a good answer. And then I reached out to Arsenale, and as you see here, it took them quite a longer time to react to that. But in December, they came up with their type of answer. And there's also a video that I did with David Goldstein from Arsenale on this topic, because I think this is quite an interesting thing. So he did show his software and also did some comparison in the video. And I thought it was a good idea to do the same thing with you. So thank you very much for joining it, and also for joining it for such a, let's say, unusual cause. So now people know what we're up to. What I would want to start, nevertheless, is could you please just give us a short, maybe 5-minute introduction of what your product does, where it is strong, and why you think it rocks, so that everyone has a basis to see where you excel and what your strengths are?
Okay. So then can I do some 5-minute demo of the main things?
Sure.
Okay, I'll switch to the screen sharing.
It's the green button.
Yes.
Yeah, here we go. That's me.
So do you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you install eazyBI as a Jira add-on, so you'll have a separate eazyBI tab where you will do go to the full screen eazyBI user interface, where you can prepare these reports and charts and dashboards. And some main concepts of eazyBI is that in eazyBI you can create several so-called eazyBI accounts, and in each eazyBI account you can import separate set of data, which could be both Jira data as well as some other data sources. And then you can grant which users or Jira user groups can access the data. So that's comparing to other solutions. One also difference that you can split the data and all the reports and dashboards, and also the imported data into many these eazyBI accounts. Then in each eazyBI account, you can grant which users can do what kind of actions. So there are some can be account owners, or those who can import the data into these accounts. And then these users will be able to select, for example, from the Jira data source, from the Jira server, from which Jira projects they would like to import the data. And these users will also see just those projects which they are able to see in Jira. And then there are some other options, whether you would like to get the whole issue change history, as well as we have also, that's a difference with other reporting tools, that we are working closely also with other popular add-ons in Jira ecosystem. So we have integration with Tempo timesheets to get additional data from work logs. We have integrations with several test management add-ons like Zephyr or X-Ray or Profiles from Dazer, etc. And then, in addition, you can select for which custom fields you would like to import into eazyBI and use in your eazyBI reports. And then, so this is also the initial data import, and then after that, you schedule how frequently you would like to do this incremental data synchronization, which will just process the changes which are happening in your in Jira.
What's your recommendation on that? Should I do that frequently or once a day?
So probably most often used is that people are scheduling it to do it once a day, for example, in the early morning, as there are several benefits of that. That at first, mostly people use it for historical reporting, and then it's some daily snapshot is good enough. And also when everyone is looking at the same reports during the day, so they get the same results. The other thing is that you can eazyBI does in-memory data caching. So if you have a lot of users, for example, thousands of users, and you have some report in a Jira dashboard, then the results are cached in memory. And while the new data import is not happening, it will retrieve the data from the in-memory cache, and so it will not hit the database at all. But if you have if you need, you can also schedule it frequently, up to 10 minutes. Or even if you just need, maybe schedule it daily, and then if you have some important meeting before which you want to have the latest data, you can just run manually this incremental data refresh. And then, so there will be several sample reports created which you can use to explore eazyBI capabilities. So I'll show you some basic sample report, but then I'll shortly touch about the Jira software and service desk sample reports that we are currently working on to create more of them. For example, so there is a sample created versus resolved issues report or chart, which is similar to the standard gadget, but with much more capabilities. You can do some filtering by projects, issue types, priorities, assignees as well, or you can drill through the list of detailed issues which are included in a particular thing. So these samples are meant so that you can explore different ways how eazyBI works. And in addition to these created samples, we have also our online demo account where you can go and see many created sample reports and explore how they work. And if you see that some report is interesting for you, so you can it's also possible that you can go to that report in our online demo library and export the definition of this reporting, including.
And then I can take it over in my own instance.
Yes, yeah. So, so that's one maybe a difference. So that we provide different predefined sample reports, but then we are building based on what people are asking during our support. So we have created a lot of other different samples.
Can you show the samples from the online instance again, so that people can read through and see what's up there?
Yeah. So regarding so I could probably also cover the thing that we are currently working on and what will be in the version. So what we are right now will release, that we have created many standard reports regarding Jira software. For example, so there is some sample sprint issues by status category at sprint end. So in a selected project, you see all the sprints, and you see how many issues at the sprint end were done, how many were still in progress, or how many were left still in to do. Or you can just see in the table format, so what were all the issues included in particular sprint, how many sprint points were committed, whether some were removed from the sprint, how many were resolved, and how many were not completed by the end of the sprint.
Raymond, could you go back to the overview again? So what I do see is that there's quite a few. No, there was this other page with a lot of.
Yes, the dashboard down, or the listing of all.
No, only the list. Yeah, this one. I mean, so here comes my first evil question. There is this Arsenale Dataplane product, and at least our customers ask us, what's the difference? Did you look at their product and just build the same reports in your product? Is that possible? Didn't you do that because you thought it is evil, or is it possible and you just didn't do it? Could you just have the very same reports and more in eazyBI?
In general, so you could create the same reports. So what we are seeing that so probably what we want to teach our users to provide some samples, and when they for example, if they learn how to do some unresolved issues by assignee, so then they will understand how to do it by priority. They just pick different.
So you want to educate them with the samples. Yeah, we don't have the same reports as Dataplane yet.
Yeah, so we probably we want to provide different samples of different style reports, and then based on that, it's quite easier to create a new one.
Yeah, could you go to the dashboards again, where all these reports are run? This is also a good way for me to look at what eazyBI can do for me, right? Because I see different styles of reports and different things that are analyzed, like this pie chart, and then the bubbles and bars and all these things. What is your experience? Do your customers buy your product for one specific report, or for the variety of reports that are possible, for exactly the reports that you're giving them in terms of samples, or to learn how to do their own reports and then do their own reporting?
So the typical flow is that that probably they have some current urgent need that they want to do, and then they are trying it out, and so we are encouraging. So if they can't, it's quite often that's probably some initial one is already some sophisticated one, and then they are asking our help how to do that, and then we are providing samples, and then what we quite often just create additional samples, that report that they can import in their eazyBI instance, and then when they have solved their urgent needs, so then they have some new idea. Okay, let's do something like that, and then let's do something like that. So most often that's some initial first urgent need, but then they discover that they can do a lot more with eazyBI. And so that's the main difference, that it's not limited just to the set of some standard reports that we think that everyone needs. So from our experience, the report that each customer is using is quite a different set, as that's probably the initial reason why they use Jira, because Jira is not just a standard issue tracking tool, so it's very flexible issue tracking tool that quite many have customized for their specific needs, and so therefore when they want to analyze the data, so they have also quite unique needs. So there are some common needs for some common questions, so we try to provide these standard examples, but then they are not limited, that they can't create more. As everything else, so what is created in eazyBI, so it can be done with eazyBI, so it's not necessary to create, if we have the source data, these measures by these dimensions imported, you can create new additional reports without any changes to the software.
Okay.
So I just wanted to shortly show you, so how when you have looked at these samples, and then you want to create new report from scratch. And the main idea in eazyBI, how you build a new report, is in eazyBI you have a lot of different so-called measures, which are, for example, number of issues created, or number of issues resolved or unresolved, which is called due, or how many are hours spent, or how many are remaining estimated hours, how many workflow transitions were made, etc. And then so you can analyze these measures by different dimensions, like by project, reporters, and issue type, priority, and things like that. And for example, if you would like to start to do some new report, you could select let's select, for example, issues due, which are currently unresolved issues, and I want to start to analyze them by priority. So I drag the priority to rows, so I see in total I have more than 5,000 unresolved issues. Then I can expand it by detail and look, okay, they are split by individual priorities. If I don't want to see this priorities line, so all priority line, I can remove that. Then if you would like to add new dimensions, for example, I can add assignee dimension, expand to all assignees, and now I'm looking at by priority and assignee. I can add then status on columns, expand to detailed statuses. If I don't want to see some empty rows or columns, I can hide them. Then I can add some additional dimensions as a page filter dimensions. For example, here are I see all imported projects. I can select just one or several imported projects. And then whenever you see some total number of issues, you can always click on this cell and drill through the detailed list of issues which are included there and navigate to the detailed.
They have now links to Jira, right?
Yeah, so these are links back to the detailed Jira issue page. And then, or you can open all of them in Jira issue navigator.
Yeah, just figured it out.
Yeah, and then so there are different other, so you can filter rows by some exact criteria, by some columns, or get some top bottom rows, or order by some columns. It's
small Excel that you created.
So it's simpler, so it will not be as sophisticated as Excel, and not as sophisticated as other business intelligence tools. So we are trying to focus which is the core set of typical things that you would like to do. For example,
could I export that to a Google spreadsheet or something?
Yeah. So if you okay, let me finish that out. So I wanted one Excel-like feature that if I would like to do some conditional cell formatting, I could add that some large number of reopened issues would be with red or yellow or red background color. And and then when you have created some report, you can save it and give it a name. So then it will be available for you, this report definition that you can open and see the latest results. And then if you still like Excel or CSV format, so you can export it to the Excel and
I think we get the point. But this is not dynamic, right? This is a one-time export. And so if I would import that to Google Spreadsheets, it wouldn't update there, would it? Oh, did we lose you, Raymond? At least we can't hear you anymore, and I can't see any changes. So let's see where we are. As the picture is frozen, I'll come back to my screen and see whether he's still online. And some technical glitches. Please excuse that. I'm going to chat with him. Still there. See maybe invite him.
Sorry,
there you are
so
again.
my Excel crashed my,
okay.
my browser, yeah, and then Excel is evil thing, yeah. So
it's the Microsoft people that we're going to blame here. Okay. So you dropped off. I understood that you can export things to Excel. This is a static export, right? It won't update automatically. There's no dynamics in there. So if I put that on a Google spreadsheet, the spreadsheet will not automatically update, right?
Yeah. So it's so that is static export. Yeah, but if you are interested, so we can. For integration, we provide also some REST APIs, how to get, if you have saved some report, you can either regularly send it via, create some exports and then send it via email, or you can access the report results through REST API. So for some advanced usages, so we have such kind of integrations as well.
Yeah, okay, cool. And I assume maybe you can share your screen again, that from this table, I can still create some visual representations of quite complex analysis that you've created in a couple of seconds, which is pretty impressive, by the way.
Yes. So just a second. All browser tabs are now reopening, and I'm having high CPU usage, but okay, let's try.
Okay, Raymond, maybe what we can also do, if okay, now
I think. So do you see my screen now?
Yeah, all good.
Okay. Yeah. So what I wanted to show you, so that when you have then created some. So typically you select the data and you play with the data and drill into in the details, and when you have selected the data you are interested in, you can visualize the data also using different chart types. And there are then bar charts and line charts and pie charts, and then in each chart you can dynamically switch, for example, to stacked bar chart or to vertical bar chart, or show or hide data labels. Or if you want to, you can customize even further some colors and pick your specific color, or from the specify any custom color that you want some data to be represented. And also from here you can click on any slice of the data and drill through the details and get the detailed issues which are included in the
drill across mean.
So this means that but now I would like to see this part of the data, but by different dimension, for example, by issue type.
Yeah.
So I do the drill across, and then I focus just on this data, and now it's split up here. So just this data was this blocker priority for this admin user. It's how many are bugs, new features, tasks, etc.
Okay, next question for you, Raymond.
Yes.
Or can we end this type of presentation real quick and see you again? I would want to ask you some questions, comparisons, and so on. Maybe we go back into.
Okay. I'm trying.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Okay. This is pretty impressive. The main question that I would have to begin with when we're talking about comparison with other tools, what's the main strength, and please only highlight one, that you see that people choose your product over others? What is it?
No, it's flexibility, so that it's not limited just to some standard set of reports, but it's unlimited, so that if they choose eazyBI, so then they most probably can do all their advanced reporting, additional reporting needs with eazyBI, so they don't need to search for some other tool for some different reporting needs.
Okay. Now, vice versa. Let's take Arsenale Dataplane. Why do people choose Arsenale Dataplane and not your software? What's their reasoning? What do they tell you?
So in those cases, so of course, so to be able to create more these advanced reports, as eazyBI is more powerful tool, and so it requires some additional learning, and it could be done on different levels. So one is how you learn how to do different reports using the standard these measures, then the more advanced thing how you can create your own additional calculations. And so this requires, as it is more powerful, it requires some more additional initial effort so to explore all the capabilities. So if you see that all you need is available from some other tool like Arsenale Dataplane, and so that covers all your needs and you are happy with that, and you don't see that you in the nearest future will need to have some more advanced things, then people are probably choosing that as then that's even more easier. So just for creating these type of reports, that would be an easier solution.
Let me condense this reasoning into a simple sentence. I'm Mr. Customer, Mr. Raymond Ziminovsky from eazyBI. I'm very sorry we bought Arsenale Dataplane because it was easier to get in and to use in the very beginning for us. That's what you hear?
No, sometimes it's so we don't investigate in details in all cases, but in our case probably also the as what was mentioned by David in his webinar, that also probably in both our cases the main competitor is still the Microsoft Excel that people use, and so probably that's more often the thing. So whether it's whether they see the value that it can automate all these manual things that that quite many who already needed some advanced things, so already have created some solutions, either exporting everything to Excel and then doing it there, or doing some database queries. That was my initial also reasoning about the eazyBI, as before that I was for many years also a Jira users in our previous organization, and we also quite often put a general purpose reporting tool on top of Jira database, and then we created these reports. And so that's typically people are looking how to move.
So what you see most is people move away from Excel, and then they move either to you or the others. Okay. Now that we've worked out that the power and the complexity of a product may be a differentiator, what do you do to educate people on eazyBI? So I'm interested, and I want all these features and the flexibility. It's so awesome. Could you give us a small tour on where I could look at and how I do I actually get in and see all this demo instance? And what do you have? Do you have videos, tutorials, documentation? Show us around a little bit on your screen.
So the best way would be to, so if you see my screen.
We do.
Yeah, so if you go to our documentation page, and so there are several sections regarding this documentation, but if you would go to documentation from the eazyBI add-on for Jira, so you'll see, so there are some getting started tutorials regarding general things, how you can create reports, charts, and dashboards, as well as so here are the links with different examples, which I already showed. This is Jira software related demo account in our publicly accessible demo, or service desk demo accounts, or there are some other examples pages where we explain how to create some particular type of reports. As well as we have made some training videos for those who want to learn in more details. We have 2 hours basic training webinar, and then 2 hours advanced training webinar. So that's how the people can start by themselves. But then if you find some specific problem with what you can't find out some
Now we have another problem. That's not difficult. I muted Raymond, but let's see. Problem is I cannot find out without unmuting him where. Ah, okay. This is a funny problem. Yeah, so this is kind of Eastern Europe, I would say, and poor web connection. Maybe he'll restart his browser and come back in. Let me sum up at this point what I have learned so far. So there is this other video with Arsenale Dataplane, and now we've in eazyBI, and something that David Goldstein from Arsenale Dataplane also admitted is that eazyBI is the more powerful and flexible tool. And you as a customer now have to decide whether you want to have a quick and easy and guided entrance into this business intelligence world and have your data live in Jira and be very accessible. I remember, for example, that for Dataplane, you would click on a link and the drill down would directly go to Jira, while in eazyBI, you have to say drill through and then you go somewhere else. What I like a lot in Dataplane is the drill across, which is like a real visual drill down into the same thing and get a new visual representation. It may be kind of troubling for not so experienced users. So if your target group for these reports is mainly people who don't care, who don't have time, who only want to get the data, and you want to make this all prepackaged, then probably Arsenale Dataplane is the better tool. If you are kind of the Jira administrator trying to get out information, compute it, and work on it, and then you present it later in a personal demo, for example, on spreadsheets, then this is something that I would recommend eazyBI for. So the more you want to steer yourself, the better it is, obviously, to use eazyBI. The less you want to do yourself, and the easier you want to have the start, and then maybe you're only getting this for other people to work on, then it may be helpful to be in a situation where you just throw something at someone else, and they will then do their own BI stuff there. And that's probably Arsenale Dataplane more. Let's look again at the page. Raymond is kind of, I don't know what he's doing. Let me share my screen again. I have been looking at the marketplace, which you can do also at marketplace@atlassian.com. And there is eazyBI, and this is the server plugin, and then there's also the cloud plugin, and this is Arsenale Dataplane. I think it's both. And what you can see, if you summarize that, eazyBI has more installations. Both plugins are very good rated by people, so it's probably not a mistake to buy either of the two. So however you feel what is right after seeing the two videos, it's probably a good decision. You can definitely look at buying both, which may not be budget optimal. If we go back to the initial answers that they gave, was like in Arsenale Dataplane, there are a couple, they said dozens of reports. while basically in eazyBI, you can do everything you want. That being said, Arsenale Dataplane has the opportunity and possibility to create your own reports. So it is possible to create your own reports there as well, but it's not as flexible and powerful as eazyBI. I don't think that the different chart types are a very different thing. So obviously, eazyBI has a couple more chart types, like the gauge and the map and the Gantt chart, other thing. That could be interesting. Still, those visual representations do have their complexity in itself, so you may want to discount that a little. And then also, I think also the Dataplane reply from Arsenal is pretty interesting. Basically, what they say is our product is easier to maintain. You don't have to be a Jira admin. You cannot crash the whole instance. Ah, there's Raymond again.
Hi, so
Hello to Latvia. Have you been turned down by internet, or did the browser crash again?
Oh, so it was saying that I'm not allowed to join. So now I switched to different Gmail account, and
I'm sorry. That was my problem. You had a kind of disturbing audio problem. That's why I muted you. Then you unmuted yourself, which made the audio problem come back. And the only thing to tell you that it's not working this way is to eject you from the meeting, which kind of probably is a ban for the whole thing. So I wasn't aware of that.
I think so.
Okay, so there he is again. Thanks for rejoining. Yeah. I'm just trying to summarize. Can you see my screen, by the way?
Yes, I can see you.
So this would be something that I would want you to comment on. Like what David said is, it's easier to install and maintain what we have as a plugin, especially because you don't need special permissions, and it's less risky as you can't do silly queries that will block Jira or at least slow it down, which is easy to be done with eazyBI.
So I wanted to comment about that.
Do you agree? Is that like
not quite?
Is that a problem?
Well, so probably in some historically, so there were problems, and which was problems also with some other intensive Jira add-ons that everything runs in the same Jira JVM process. But already some while ago, so we have made improvement that eazyBI launches a separate operating system process to which we proxy all these intensive queries, and as a result, so they are running outside of Jira, this main virtual machine.
eazyBI cannot make Jira be slower or crash?
No, so if you so that's the option that you can enable, but for what we recommend for larger customers, and if you enable that, so then it minimizes the impact on the main Jira performance, as then it's running in a separate process, and then it doesn't influence the main Jira virtual machine.
What do I have to do that?
It's just one setting in the main setup page.
So I'll look at your documentation and then maybe ask the support, and then I can fix it.
Yes, but so it's during the initial setup. So there is one checkbox with a link to the documentation explaining that. So where you can then tell that, okay, dedicate so much additional memory for this specifically for eazyBI needs, and then it will launch a separate operating system process, which will then so if you have enough memory on that server, so then it's so we don't launch it by default, but you can enable that.
Okay, so I would say what David said was basically true, but there are a couple of workarounds that will.
So and that was probably some longer while ago. So there were some more of these problems, but recently, if you enable that option, that's not a problem.
How about the permissions and the security? Like everyone can access all projects and get.
Also, that's also not quite like that. So as I mentioned, that typically people so they create several of these eazyBI accounts, and in each eazyBI account, so they can grant also using Jira user groups who can access what data. And then also the people who can import the data, so they can see just the projects that they are allowed to see. So yeah, when running, if you grant someone to see the reports in that eazyBI account, then yeah, we are not checking down to the Jira permissions as we reorganize the data into this different multidimensional data cube. But sometimes that's also kind of could be an advantage, as in the summary reports, you can also then provide some other people which you don't need to provide them access to the issue details. But then if you want to provide some summary, for example, some are providing to their external customers some summary of how they're doing, or to get some management reports, as we want to encourage that these reports are also shared, that probably some users will be power users who create these reports, but then to share with all organization or also with your external customers. And then you can embed these reports as iframes in some other web pages as well. So we encourage sharing this information also to other people. As well as, as also wanted to mention, the main difference is that eazyBI is not limited just to Jira data. So you can upload other data sources and combine with the Jira data. And then that's this is this universal approach how you grant access, which users or user groups can see what data, and whether they can just see the data or create see reports or create new ones, etc.
Okay, cool. Then basically, I would say this should be it for now. Thank you, Raymond, for being persistent and coming back in after some technical trouble. That's highly appreciated. Thank you also for being open about things where your product has weaknesses and strengths, and what you see as strength in competition products. I hope that this has been helpful for you. If this is the case, you can like the video. You can tell Raymond that he's a cool guy. You can always contact eazyBI Media for more consulting and advice, or for buying licenses. You can go directly through eazyBI and get some support if you have questions about the product. This simple elevator pitch, when you are in this elevator with the CEO of your customer and want to sell them eazyBI, how would you go about it? Give me the 30-second pitch.
So you can, using eazyBI, you can create custom specific reports for your specific business needs, where you can start with summary information and then easily go through the details, and then it distribute it in different ways, and always get the overall summary of how you are doing, both in Jira as well as in some other applications that you need.
Cool. Thank you, Raymond.
Okay, thank you.